I never should have clicked the link. After that, my life turned upside down, and I don't know where there is a safe place now where they won't find me. You should listen to this to the end so that you don't have the desire to follow such links. I know how stupid that sounds, but I wasn't an idiot. I wasn't one of those people who wandered into the dark web out of curiosity, thinking they'd find some deep, hidden truth about the world. I knew exactly what I was doing. I had been running a small cybersecurity business from my apartment for a few years. Most of my work involved penetration testing companies hired me to find the weak spots in their systems before hackers did. I was good at it, and sometimes in my downtime, I did a little exploring, not for fun, not for any twisted thrill, but because knowing what lurked in the shadows kept me ahead of the game. That's how I found the order. It started with a message on a cybersecurity forum I frequented. A user named June1989 posted about a hidden site supposedly buried deep in the dark web. Something more secretive than the usual black market junk. No drugs, no hitmen, no stolen identities. It was just called The Order. The post was vague, but the way people responded, half in fear, half in disbelief, made me curious. A few users warned against digging too deep. One guy said he knew someone who'd looked into it and disappeared. Standard urban legend nonsense. But another user, Curlroot, posted something that caught my eye. If you get in, don't interact. Just watch. If they notice you, it's over. I should have listened, but I didn't. I found the link buried in the source code of a dead forum. No direct references, just a string of characters that, when decrypted, led to a onion address. I copied it into my Tor browser, half expecting it to be fake. It wasn't. The page that loaded was simple, a black background with a single white box in the center. Inside it, red text blinked. Do you wish to proceed? There were no buttons, just a blinking cursor. I typed yes. The screen went black for a moment before text began appearing, as if someone were typing it in real time. Rules: do not attempt to record or screenshot. Do not engage. Only observe. Do not share this link. At the bottom, a final message: the order sees you. Then, a video feed appeared. It looked like a grainy security camera in an empty room. A chair sat in the middle, facing away from the camera. The walls were plain, windowless. Fluorescent light buzzed from above. I waited. At first, nothing happened. Then the door in the background opened. A man was shoved inside. He was blindfolded, hands bound behind his back. His breathing was ragged, his chest rising and falling too fast. Someone outside the frame said something I couldn't hear, and the man nodded frantically. Then, the door slammed shut. The man sat frozen in the chair, his body rigid with terror. Minutes passed. I expected something to happen, but nothing did. No sound, no movement. Then, very slowly, his head turned toward the camera, and he saw me. I know how ridiculous that sounds. The camera was in a fixed position. He shouldn't have been able to see anything. But I swear to God, his face twisted in recognition. His mouth moved, forming silent words. Help me. The feed cut to black. I sat there, staring at my screen, my pulse hammering in my ears. It was a trick, a staged video, some dark web scare tactic. I closed the browser and powered down my PE. I wasn't scared. At least that's what I told myself. But later that night, my phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. Why did you leave? My stomach clenched. I deleted the message, put my phone on silent. I wouldn't let some troll get under my skin. But the next morning, another text came. You were watching. I blocked the number. Then the emails started. They were from different addresses, always with the same subject line: we see you. Inside, a single image, a frame from the video. Except this time, it wasn't just the man in the chair. This time there was someone standing behind him, and they were staring directly into the camera. By the third day, I stopped sleeping. Every noise in my apartment made my skin crawl. I unplugged my router, wiped my drives, even swapped out my phone. None of it helped, because then the letters started arriving. No postage, no return address, just plain white envelopes slipped under my door. Inside, a single sheet of paper. You broke the rules. I told myself it was paranoia, some hacker playing a long game. But by the end of the week, I stopped leaving my apartment altogether, and that's when I saw the man from the video. It was late. I had just checked the peephole for the 100th time that night. He was standing across the street, under a flickering streetlight. Same blindfold, same bindings. Except now, he was facing me, and he wasn't alone. Figures in dark clothing stood on either side of him. Their faces were obscured, but I could feel their eyes on me. My phone vibrated on the counter. I didn't want to look, but I did. A new text. Open the door. I backed away. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept near my couch and forced myself to breathe. They were just messing with me. They wanted me scared. Then my phone vibrated again. Last chance. And then a knock. Not loud, not aggressive, just patient. I stood there, gripping the bat so hard my fingers ached. The knock came again. And then the door unlocked. I hadn't touched it. I swear to God, I hadn't touched it. The knob twisted, the door cracking open an inch. The apartment beyond it was dark. A voice, barely a whisper, floated through the gap. You were watching. I don't remember screaming. I don't remember running. I just remember waking up in my car 2 hours away with no idea how I got there. My apartment was empty when I returned. Not a single trace of my existence left behind. No furniture, no clothes, just bare walls and floors, like I had never lived there at all. I don't go online anymore. I don't use my real name, because if the order finds you once, they never stop watching. If I had known what I was signing up for, I never would have opened that website. I was 25, stuck in a dead-end job at a shipping warehouse, stacking boxes and scanning labels for 8 hours a day. The pay was garbage, and my rent kept going up. I needed something better. That's when I found the night market. It was a forum buried deep in the dark web, invitation only, no public access. A friend of a friend got me in, telling me it was a gold mine for under-the-table work. Not the usual illegal stuff, no drugs, no hacking, just odd jobs, discreet deliveries, private courier work, and the pay was insane. That's how it started, and that's how I ruined my life. The first delivery was easy. A package, small and wrapped in brown paper, waiting at a storage locker across town. No return address, just an instruction. Drop it off in a mailbox before 2 a.m. Payment, $1,000 in Bitcoin. I did it in 20 minutes and checked my wallet. The money was there, no issues. The second job was similar. A larger box delivered to an abandoned house. The instructions were strict. Leave the package at the doorstep. Do not knock. Do not look inside. I followed the rules. Payment, $5,000. I told myself I didn't care what was inside, but that night I lay awake wondering. The third job paid $10,000, and that's when things went wrong. I got the message at 11:45 p.m. Pickup location sent. This job is high priority. You will be paid upon completion. Do not open the package. The pickup location was different, this time an abandoned warehouse in the industrial district. When I arrived, the place was dead silent. No workers, no night security, nothing. Just a single box in the middle of the floor. It was heavy. About the size of a microwave, sealed tight with thick tape. No labels, no markings. As I lifted it, something shifted inside, something soft. I told myself it was just padding, something fragile inside. I told myself not to think about it. The drop-off location was in a rural area, about 30 minutes outside the city. A single house at the end of a dirt road, completely isolated. I was halfway there when I heard it. A thump. From inside the box. I nearly swerved off the road. I waited, gripping the wheel. Silence. Maybe it was just shifting again. Maybe I hit a bump. Then, another thump, louder, and then something else. A muffled sound. A whimper. My stomach dropped. There was something alive in that box. I pulled over, heart pounding. I wasn't stupid. I knew the kind of people I was working for. If I opened the box, they'd know. If I didn't make the delivery, I wouldn't see another job offer. I'd seen enough crime documentaries to know how these things went. But then I heard it again. A weak, desperate cry. A child. I ripped the tape off with shaking hands, tore open the box. Inside, curled up and bound with zip ties, was a boy. Couldn't have been older than 6 or 7. His face was streaked with tears, his mouth gagged with duct tape, his eyes wild, terrified, locked onto mine. I scrambled to cut the ties, my hands shaking so badly I could barely pull my pocket knife from my jacket. The second the tape fell away, he gasped for air. He's coming, he sobbed. Please, he's coming. I froze. The night was silent, just the wind through the trees. But then, headlights in the distance, coming fast. I threw the box onto the side of the road, grabbed the kid, and ran. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I had to get away. The trees were dense, the ground uneven, but I pushed forward, branches clawing at my face. Behind me, tires screeched. A car door slammed, and then footsteps. Heavy, purposeful, not running, just following. The boy clung to me, sobbing. I pressed my hand over his mouth, whispering for him to be quiet. My pulse hammered in my ears. The footsteps stopped. Silence. I held my breath. Then, a voice. Deep, amused. You shouldn't have done that. I ran. I don't know how long we ran, but eventually, the trees thinned, and we stumbled onto an empty stretch of road. Headlights appeared in the distance, a car. I waved frantically, stepping into the road. The vehicle screeched to a stop. An old man rolled down the window, eyes wide. What the hell? Call the police, I gasped. Please, there's Valb. The old man jerked, looked past me. I turned. The man from the warehouse was there, standing in the middle of the road, perfectly still, not running, not out of breath, just watching. I yanked the passenger door open, shoved the kid inside, and scrambled in after him. The old man didn't ask questions. He just hit the gas. I looked back once. The man hadn't moved, but he was smiling. The police took my statement. The boy, thankfully, was identified a missing child from 2 states away. He was reunited with his parents. But me? The police asked too many questions. About the deliveries. About how I found the kid. About who I was working for. I told them I didn't know. They didn't believe me. The FBI got involved. They took my laptop, my phone. I told them everything. But the night market? Gone. The site was wiped clean. My Bitcoin wallet emptied. No traces, no contacts, nothing. And the man? They never found him. It's been a year. I moved, changed my name. No internet, no credit cards. But I know it's not over. Sometimes I get calls from unknown numbers. I never answer. But once I made the mistake of picking up. Silence. Then a familiar voice, deep, amused. You shouldn't have done that. The line went dead. And now, every night, I see headlights in the distance. Just waiting. I've done a lot of questionable jobs over the years, but this one was different. I do freelance at work, mostly cybersecurity gigs. People hire me to test their networks, recover lost data, or occasionally do things that aren't exactly legal. I don't ask too many questions, and they don't ask for my real name. It pays the bills. That's how I got the email. It was simple, no subject line. The sender's address was a mess of random characters. Can you recover deleted files? I replied, quoting my usual rate. The response came instantly. Money is not a problem, but you must come in person. That set off alarms. Nobody in this line of work asks for face-to-face meetings. I almost declined, but then the second email came. 10,000, cash, just to show up. I stared at the number. That was more than I usually made in 2 months. Against my better judgment, I said yes. The address was in an industrial district on the outskirts of town. A warehouse, half abandoned, surrounded by rusted chain-link fences and flickering streetlights. I parked outside and checked my phone. No new messages, just a sinking feeling in my gut. The metal door creaked as I pushed it open. The inside was almost empty, just a single table, a few old chairs, and a laptop waiting for me. The air smelled like dust and something metallic. Then I saw him. A man sat in the shadows near the far wall. He was middle-aged, thin, wearing a suit that looked expensive but disheveled, like he hadn't changed in days. His hands were shaking. "You're the tech guy." His voice was raw, exhausted. I nodded. "You got a laptop that needs recovery." He gestured to the table. "It's all there. Just get them back." I sat down and opened the laptop. It was old, barely running. Someone had wiped the hard drive, but data recovery was my specialty. I started the process. Files began appearing, thousands of them, all buried deep in corrupted sectors. Most were random junk, but then I saw a folder titled "Watch Me." I hesitated. "Is this what you need?" The man's breath hitched. "Yes." "Open it." I clicked, and I wished to God I hadn't. Videos. dozens of them. The first one was grainy, taken from what looked like a security camera, a dimly lit room, a chair in the center, and someone tied to it. A man, blindfolded, gagged, his chest heaving. A timestamp in the corner, 3 days ago. My stomach clenched. What the hell is this? Just watch, the man whispered. The video played. The bound man struggled, shaking his head violently. Then, from the darkness behind him, a figure emerged, tall, dressed in black, face obscured. They moved unnaturally, like a puppet on strings, slow, deliberate steps. They walked up behind the man in the chair, and then they just stood there, watching. The man in the chair was sobbing now, shaking so hard the chair creaked beneath him. The figure reached out, slowly, placing a hand on his shoulder. Then, the screen cut to black. I exhaled, realizing I had been holding my breath. "What the hell is this?" I demanded. The man across from me wouldn't look up. "Keep going," he muttered. I opened another file. Another video. Same room. Same chair, but a different person tied to it. The timestamp was from yesterday. The figure in black appeared again, moving in the same slow, deliberate way. But this time, they weren't alone. More figures stepped into frame. 5, maybe 6 of them, all moving identically. The person in the chair thrashed violently, muffled screams escaping the gag. The figures surrounded them, standing perfectly still. And then, the video glitched. For a single frame, a face flashed across the screen. Not the victims, not the hooded figures. Mine, staring at the screen, watching. My chair scraped against the concrete as I pushed away from the laptop. "What the fuck is this?" My voice shook. The man finally looked up at me, and I recognized him, the face in the first video, the first victim. He was sitting right across from me, alive, breathing. But his eyes were wrong, unfocused, hollow, like he wasn't really there. "They won't let me go," he whispered. "They won't let you go either." I bolted for the door. Outside, the air was thick with fog. The street was empty. My car sat where I left it. I yanked the door handle lock. No. I fumbled for my keys. Dropped them. Bent down. Footsteps. Behind me. Slow. Deliberate. I turned my head, my breath frozen in my chest. Figures. Emerging from the fog. Dressed in black. Moving like puppets. I grabbed my keys with shaking hands, jammed one into the lock, yanked the door open, and threw myself inside. The figures didn't run. They just watched. Even as I peeled out onto the road, tires screeching, they stood motionless, heads tilting in unison as I sped away. I didn't go home. I drove straight to a motel an hour out of town. I locked the door, turned off my phone. For hours, I sat on the bed shaking, trying to convince myself it was some elaborate prank. Then, a notification. My laptop was still open in my bag. The screen blinked to life. A video began playing. I recognized the room instantly. The dim light, the chair, and me, sitting in it, blindfolded, gagged, struggling. The timestamp was tomorrow. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they found me, but I left everything behind that night. New name, new city, no internet, no credit cards, and I never take jobs from strangers, because once you've seen them, they've already seen you. If I had just ignored the message, none of this would have happened. I work as an overnight technician for a financial firm in Chicago. The job is easy, mostly monitoring servers, running security checks, and fixing minor network issues before the morning shift arrives. It's quiet, almost boring, but the solitude suits me. That night, I was in the office alone, sipping my third coffee and half listening to a podcast when my monitor flickered. At first, I thought it was a routine network hiccup, but then a command prompt opened on its own, and a single message appeared. "Hello, Nathan." I froze. I hadn't touched anything. No updates were scheduled. No remote access had been granted. Someone was in my system. I typed a quick response. "Who is this?" The cursor blinked. Then, another message. "Do you want to play a game?" I felt a chill creep up my spine. It was almost 3 a.m., and I was in a locked office building with no one else on the floor. I ran a network trace. Nothing. Whoever this was, they were good. Then another message popped up. "Nathan, don't ignore me." I yanked the Ethernet cable from my PXE. The screen went black. I sat there, my pulse hammering. Just a prank, I told myself. some bored hacker messing with a random guy. But when I plugged the cable back in, my desktop was back to normal. No sign of the chat, no evidence it had ever happened. I shook it off and finished my shift. By the time I left at 6 a.m., I had almost convinced myself it was just a glitch. I should have left it alone. That night, I got home around 7 a.m. and crashed. When I woke up in the afternoon, there was a new email in my inbox. No subject line. The sender's address was just a string of random characters. I hesitated, then opened it. Inside was a single line, "We're not done yet," and an attachment. I clicked on it. It was a photo of me, sleeping in my bed. My stomach dropped. I checked the timestamp. It had been taken 2 hours ago. My apartment door was still locked, my window shut. There was no sign of forced entry, but someone had been in here. I called the cops. They arrived within 10 minutes, checked the apartment, and found nothing. No fingerprints, no footprints, nothing missing. Just an empty room and a very paranoid guy. The officer, an older guy with tired eyes, gave me a long look before sighing. "Listen, this kind of thing happens more than you'd think," he said. "People get hacked. Webcams get hijacked. Could be someone messing with you." I told him I didn't have a webcam. He didn't have an answer for that. He filed a report, told me to change my passwords, and left. I should have felt better. But that night, the messages started again. At exactly 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. I picked it up and saw a notification. "Unknown number, look outside." I sat up slowly, my mouth dry. I didn't want to, but I did. Through my bedroom window, I had a clear view of the street below. At first, it looked empty. Just the usual parked cars and streetlights. Then I saw it. A figure, standing perfectly still under the street lamp across from my building, dressed in black. No distinguishable features, just watching. My phone buzzed again. "Unknown number, come closer." I dropped my phone. I backed away from the window, my skin crawling. I grabbed a kitchen knife and checked my door still locked. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, the figure was gone, but a new email was waiting for me. This time, it was a video. I pressed play. The screen was pitch black at first. Then, faintly, the image sharpened. It was my bedroom, filmed from the foot of my bed. I watched, heart pounding, as I appeared on screen, tossing and turning in my sleep. The video lasted about 3 minutes. Then the camera moved. It panned slowly to the right, toward my closet. The door was slightly open. A dark shape stood inside, watching me. The video ended. I left my apartment that morning and checked into a motel. I locked the door, bolted the windows, left the TV on for background noise. I didn't touch my phone or laptop. I didn't go online. I just sat there waiting for something to happen. By midnight, nothing had. By 2 a.m., I almost convinced myself it was over. Then, a knock. Soft, measured. I held my breath. Another knock. I gripped the motel keycard in my sweaty palm. No way they found me. Then my phone buzzed. I had turned it off, but the screen was glowing. Unknown number. Opened the door. The knocking grew louder. Then, a single, final message. "You let us in the moment you replied." The door handle turned. I don't remember running. I don't remember how I got to my car, or how long I drove. By the time I came back to my senses, I was miles away, parked at a gas station on the outskirts of the city, shaking so hard I could barely breathe. I checked my phone. The messages were gone. My email wiped. My call log empty. I drove straight to a friend's place and crashed on their couch. I didn't tell them everything, just that I had a stalker. They offered to let me stay as long as I needed. For the next week, nothing happened. No emails, no texts, no knocks at the door. I started to think maybe it was over, until one morning, I got a call from my own number. I let it ring. Then came the voicemail. I played it back, hard hammering. At first, just silence. Then, breathing, slow, heavy, right against the speaker. And then, a whisper. "You can't run, Nathan. We're already inside." I left Chicago that night. New name, new city, new job. I don't go online anymore. I don't answer calls from numbers I don't recognize. And I never respond to messages from strangers, because once you answer them, they never let you go.